What's up, everybody? Welcome into Fantasy Football Office Hours, brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by the esteemed professor of fantasy football, Joey, right? What's up, Joey?
I'm good. I'm good. My camera, I'm maybe having some camera issues here, so hopefully we log through, but I'm doing great.
You know what it is? It's just throwing a temper tantrum that you threw away the W at the last second in the last
You didn't
game.
have to bring it up. Like, it's a different show. Same network, but different show. You didn't even need to bring it up. The fact that you brought it up, let's just get to getting these people advice. I'm done talking to you today.
You're right. Grim fan in here wants to know, do you think Carolina's a good defensive stream this week, or should I switch to the Bears? Even though I know Joey hates streaming players on Thursday. So this might be a little different. I feel like you are a fan of Thursday night defenses, though.
I am. I like running backs and DSTs on Thursday nights. I don't necessarily like quarterbacks. And but let's see where I got them in my rankings this week. I got the Panthers at 21 and the Bears at 14. So I do like the Bears a little bit more, to be honest with you. Home game in the Windy City.
I think I'm with you. I think I'm going to go Bears here as well. And just because I don't think the Bears are going to put themselves in a position to make as many mistakes as the Panthers will without Justin Fields on the field. For the Panthers to get turnovers, it's probably going to have to be forced fumbles or things like that. This is going to be a run heavy game for the Chicago Bears. The Panthers might play around a little bit more there. Grim had one more question for us. Wanted to know Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, or Derek Carr, full PPR. So we'll start with that one. Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, or Derek Carr? Where are you going on this one, Joey?
I got Brock Purdy as a top 10 quarterback this week.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm starting Brock Purdy.
Starting Brock Purdy out of that bunch?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll go Kyler Murray. I don't mind the matchup against Atlanta, and I think he's got a higher ceiling than both of those other two guys. So I know it's his first week back. How do you feel about starting Kyler?
It's his first week back. That's the reason I'm not starting Kyler. Like, I just need to see it 1 week and then I'll be fine. But he could go out there, re-aggravate something, shake rust off. There's just a lot of things in that first game that need to come through.
I'm a lot more comfortable with it at the quarterback position first game back than I am at other positions, because the quarterback, barring an injury, has to touch the ball every play. You know what I mean? If a wide receiver starts feeling it, if a running back isn't fully 100%, they can shift the game plan away from them. It's hard to shift a game plan away from a quarterback. They can run the ball more, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out there. Oh, and there was one more part of that question. James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, or Javante Williams in full PPR? Who are you starting there?
I'll probably go James Cook. I don't mind the matchup for him this week. And listen, James Cook is now exactly what I thought he was going to be this season. He's just an in-between the 20s guy. If Leonard Fournette's going to get the red zone touches, that makes me happy, because I do know James Cook can catch the ball. He can do a lot of good things with the ball in his hand. He just might not get those red zone touches. Knowing that, I'm happy starting James Cook now.
It's neck and neck between him and Javante, but I do think I'll end up going James Cook as well there. Matchup makes me feel a little bit more secure. Mr. Scamper stopping by with hello, guys. We got Sully in here. Office hours, yes, please. And TV saying, what's up, guys? Big question today. We'll get those questions in here. For those of you who have never joined us, we're going to be here live for about the next 20 minutes, answering any and all of your fantasy questions that we get to. Craig in here wants to know, who's a better start, Carson Wentz or Morgan Wallen?
Morgan Wallen.
Last night, we let the liquor talk.
I see. I didn't even know that. I will tell you that Carson Wentz and Morgan Wallen will score the exact same amount of fantasy points this week. So you're fine starting either of them.
So either Morgan Wallen surprisingly gets called up to the big leagues and misses his CMA debut, or you're saying Carson Wentz sucks still. High upside, low risk.
They're both on. Carson Wentz on bye this week.
Oh, so the Rams on bye? Yeah. That makes sense. High upside, low risk says pick 3, non-PPR. Bijan Robinson, David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, Deonta Foreman. So really we're just benching one of those 4. Who are you benching, Joey?
I'm going to bench Monty, and I don't feel good about it. I think Deonta Foreman's a slam dunk start tonight in a revenge game against the Bears. The Bears don't have the best run defense. And I just feel like it's going to be there. There's really no one else to hand the ball off to. There are other people, but the Bears aren't going to do it. And Monty's coming back from an injury. He could re-aggravate. And just, give me Foreman.
I'm going to bench. I'm going to bench Foreman.
See, it's tough, isn't it?
I'm going to bench Foreman, but it is close between him and Monty. First game back for a running back, I am a little bit nervous. But the way they used him, if he just gets that roll back, you're going to be so sad with him on your bench.
Yes. Are you worried Gibbs, because Gibbs played lights out the last 2 weeks? Did he win the lead back job? Or is it just going to be Monty gets the ball, kind of like what the Bills have with James Cook, where in between the 20s, it's going to be the Gibbs show, and then we get down towards the red zone, and it's David Montgomery time.
This could just be me overreading Dan Campbell, but David Montgomery seems exactly like the type of back he likes to use. And that wasn't just a let Gibbs get up to speed play. It was a this is how this team wants to run the football. So I think Monty steps back into a similar role, maybe slightly decreased. Gibbs has definitely earned more work than he had, but I'm expecting Monty to be the lead guy still. Scampers had a question here, said, I have to replace Mostert and Waddle with CMC and Monty. However shall I survive? I think you'll be fine, you dumb
You'll be
cat.
okay. Mm-hmm.
We got Jay stopping by. What up, guys? What up, Jay?
Hey,
and
Jay.
TD, here's his big question. Oh, God. This Joe, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, or Taysom Hill in their flex full PPR?
I'll take Godwin. I like what him and Baker have done this year. The matchup's not completely terrible. I think Ridley's going to come on in the second half of the season. I think they might have figured some stuff out on the bye week. He'll definitely be more involved. And listen, I know Taysom Hill is going to be out there. I just can't predict what he's going to do. So it's hard for me to say to start him outside of a tight end designation.
Yeah, I'm with you. And this is really close between Ridley and Godwin for me, but the matchup for Godwin is going to ever so slightly tip it his way going up against the Tennessee Titans. But they're not so good against the pass. We got Jacob in here, said, unfortunately, due to buys, I have to start either Miles Sanders or Tajay Spears. What do you think, PPR? Joey, which way you're rolling on this one?
Oh, man. The Bucs run defense is really, really good. But Tajay Spears is more of a pass-catching back. I think it's going to be a close football game, so I think they might just lean on Derrick Henry a little bit. So I'm going to go Miles Sanders here. I know Chuba Hubbard's been getting most of the looks here, but that Bears run defense is not that good. So
this is one of our first disagreements. We've been on the same page today, but I'm going to go Tajay Spears. I've been impressed by his involvement and exactly what you said there. This game going against the defense that has been pretty good against the run, maybe he gets a little bit more involved through the air this week.
I said the wrong thing about Donta Foreman. I said that the Bears run defense isn't that scary.
The Panthers.
He plays for the Bears. Yeah, I meant the Panthers. Sorry about that, guys.
You're good. Dylan in here said, hey, guys, tough call. Got a trade question. So in a 12-team league, he gives us both the teams. The trade is Diggs, Otten, and Goddard for Garrett Wilson, Pacheco, and Ferguson. Which side of this do you like better, Joey?
Oh, man. This is really tough. I think Stephon Diggs is definitely the best player in the trade.
Yeah.
Cade Otton, I really liked his next few weeks, starting with last week. I think I'm going to go the Garrett Wilson, Pacheco, and Ferguson side. I'm going to pretty hard to go on that side.
On the Ferguson side, you said?
Yeah. I know those players are healthy right now.
Yeah. If you can get that done with your two tight ends, get Ferguson back in return. I'm curious if this is one that you're sitting on that's been sent to you, Dylan.
No, he's sending it away. So okay. He would be sending, yeah.
I'm curious if this owner is going to accept something with two tight ends attached to it. You may have to add a piece that's not a tight end since that's just a onesie position. But if they want the depth, maybe you can get it done.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get it done. Also, Scampers in here said, in Scott Fishbowl, need two. Boyd versus Houston, Flowers versus Cleveland, or Gabe versus Denver, Gabriel Davis. And an update, we still don't know if we're going to see Jamar Chase or T. Higgins this weekend. Jamar Chase hasn't practiced the last 2 days. T. Higgins' report is that he's still banged up. Joey, which two of these are you starting?
I'll go Gabe Davis. I feel like he's the most sure thing out of this group. And I love Zay Flowers. It's really tough for me to say sit him, but against Cleveland, I'm going to say sit Zay Flowers.
I'll sit Cleveland, or I'll sit Flowers as well here, though I'm tempted to sit Boyd, even with Jamar and T banged up. That offense may just not run well. We've seen that offense stutter early in the season, and without those two guys, I'm not convinced Boyd just steps up and gets it done. A question in here from Dylan, one more, wants to know if he's got too much depth or if we would make moves on this roster. He's sitting at 5-4, should go 6-4. Stroud and Dobbs at quarterback, Pollard, Mixon, Cook, Herbert, Hunt, and Spears at running back. So this is that team we were just looking at. Diggs, Ayuk. Yeah. Oh, no, it's a different team. Diggs, Ayuk, Hollywood, Downs, and Michael Thomas at wide receiver, then Andrews and McBride at tight end. Joey, is there anything that jumps out to you about this team?
Other than his extreme confidence that he's going to go to 6-4.
Yeah, don't jinx.
Yeah, I mean, I think you do have a lot of depth, but with a team that is probably going to be sitting at 6-4, worst case scenario 5-5, I kind of want the depth because an injury could sink this team at this point. So you kind of maybe want to have that depth where if you're 7-2 or 8-1 right now, you can kind of risk it a little bit to take away some of that depth, knowing that you can kind of make up on the back end. So I'm not making more than one trade. One trade I'm fine with, but any more than one, I'm not trading away too much of that depth.
I'd package either Ayuk or Downs with one of the running backs over there. I like both of those guys, but with Kyler Murray coming back, I expect Hollywood to take a jump up, and you can capitalize on the value of those two guys performing well recently and still have a wide receiver 2 in Hollywood. You don't like that one, Joey? You're not moving.
It was Ayuk. Ayuk is probably the player outside of T. Higgins I want most going into the second half of the season. His playoff schedule is so juicy, and they are getting him the ball. So I went Brandon Ayuk on all of my fantasy teams, and no one will trade him to me.
Yeah, all the teams I have Ayuk on, I've just been holding. But also, if the right price came along, I would trade him. Brad wants to know thoughts on Mostert rest of season, and I'm guessing it's in relation to this question. Mostert and Cup for Derrick Henry, T. Higgins, and Jacoby Myers. That's a big boy trade. Joey, which side of this one are you landing on?
I want the Derrick Henry, T. Higgins, and I don't even need Jacoby Myers to take that side of the trade. Derrick Henry's got the Texans 2 out of the last 3 games of the playoffs this year, and we know what Derrick Henry does against the Texans.
200 yards,
including your championship week. So you'll have Derrick Henry against the Texans for that. And then T. Higgins, I know he's dealing with an injury this week, but yeah. And hey, you know what? That's a perfect trade. Was Jacoby Myers playing this week? Do the Raiders play this week?
Raiders.
They are against the Jets. So you would have somebody out there. So yeah, I would definitely make this trade.
I like it. Brad. Now to answer Brad's other question, where do you stand on Mostert rest of season?
I'm not worried about him. I think when Achane comes back, Mostert's still going to be involved. I think Jeff Wilson will be the one that suffers, but there's no way that Achane comes back and it's a 3-headed committee. That he is a superstar, and the Dolphins want to get that ball in his hands. But Mostert's still going to be involved for sure, as we saw.
My only concern with Mostert is the number that pops up when you type in Raheem Mostert age on Google. 31 for a running back who relies on his speed as the primary form of competing is a scary proposition. I'll start him every week until you can't, but it just makes me nervous if you're relying on him going into the playoffs.
Can I bring a question to the table?
Let's do it.
From a viewer that is not in the chat. Very beautiful viewer. It's my wife. She's wanting a survivor pick for this week. Who do we got, guys?
Ooh, who does she have left? Are there any teams that are off limits?
So she's missed one because it's it's not a 1 and you're out. It's 2 and out. But just throw some games we like this week. Let's see. Would we take Chicago beating Carolina tonight?
Ooh, Thursday nights are really tricky for survivor leagues. I do like. This is a bunch of tough games this week. I assume she's used the Cowboys, but Cowboys over the Giants is one that I like. Seahawks over Commanders, I think I like.
Bills over Broncos. Cowboys. I'm going to tell her Cowboys. There we go.
Cowboys over Giants. What's the spread on that game? 17.5 points. The Cowboys are favored by in that one. That's disgusting.
Thanks for the help. FYI.
I'm also terrible at survivor leagues, so maybe don't take that. Eddie H wants to know Ridley, Dell, London, and Douglas. Bench 1 full PPR. Who you benching, Joey?
I am going to bench Demario Douglas.
Yeah, I think I'm going to also bench Demario Douglas here. You buying into is the wrong word because we've seen it so many times. CJ Stroud just had an unbelievable game this past weekend, threw for over 400 yards. I believe it was the single game rookie passing record, if I'm not mistaken there.
Yep.
He's going up against the Bengals this weekend. Do you think we're seeing his breakout now. Like maybe we're starting to see him develop into a passer that's going to be hitting 400 yards more regularly.
If you remember on the pre-draft FYF shows, CJ Stroud was my number 1 quarterback. And then he went to the Texans and he was my number 3 quarterback. I just hated the landing spot, but he's shown that maybe the landing spot didn't matter as much because that was even a receiving core that we didn't like. So it was like, yeah, everything was wrong about it. But CJ Stroud looks like a superstar. Teams are getting some tape on him, so we'll see how they adjust. But I think CJ Stroud is him for at least the next few weeks.
Yeah. Alejandro in here has a question for us. Derrick Henry for Swift and Debo. If you need a wide receiver, you could, I guess but I'd rather just keep Henry if I was you, Alejandro. Bryson here said, hey guys, do I trade Mostert for Bijan in PPR? I'm not doing that. It's too risky for me.
What's your record, Bryce? What is your record? We will not leave the air until you come back. Yeah.
What a question. Ooh, Bryce, that one's tickling my brain. That my immediate thought was no, but that one hurts a little bit right there. Mr. Scampers wants to know half PPR Ridley versus San Francisco, Javante at Buffalo, Chubbard at Chicago, or Gabe versus Denver. I think we hit this one, didn't we?
Yeah.
No, he added Chuba Hubbard in there. I don't believe Chuba was in there. It's Javante for me still. Joey, you said it was Ridley, I believe?
Also Gabe Davis, yeah.
Gabe Davis. Alejandro had another question in here for us. Says, I have McCaffrey, Hall, and Ford at running back. Devontae Adams, Debo, Amari, and DJ Moore at wide receiver. Hill and Hawkinson at tight end. I need to start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex, and a tight end. So this changes. That last question was the other way. Was trading away Swift and this must be a different team. Must be a different team. I just saw Debo on there. So Joey, who are you starting in this situation? 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex, and a tight end.
My 2 running backs will be McCaffrey and Hall. I'm not going to get too cute there.
No.
And then 2 wide receivers. See, this is where it gets tricky because you've got 4 really good options and only 3 spots to fill them in. So out of those 3, who am I going to sit?
DJ Moore.
I'm going to sit Amari Cooper.
Oh, you're going to sit Cooper.
Oh, you know what? No, I'm going to start DJ Moore over Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, I'm worried about that Baltimore matchup. It's away from home. We did see Deshaun Watson feed him the ball last week. And then if there's an injury that pops up, you at least have the points you have with DJ Moore, and you're not scrambling too much. And then I'm not going to get cute out tight end. It's going to be Hawkinson.
Yeah, it's going to be Hawkinson. I agree with the running backs. The only switch for me is I'm probably benching Moore instead of Amari Cooper. Okay. But it's really close between those 2 guys.
You have both jerseys behind your back right now. So
yeah, those are 2 of my favorite players, Alejandro, that you're asking about between. I love those guys. Also, Bryce said I'm 5-4 going against the worst team in the league this week. So that was on the question of, do I trade Mostert for Bijan?
No, at 5-4, I don't think I can.
If he was 7-2, Joey, would you have said?
Oh yeah, I'm making that trade. I'm running my team.
It's a risky move, Bryce, but it comes down to risk tolerance, I think.
I'm 8-1. I made a big boy trade to get Justin Jefferson this week, and if he doesn't come back, I'm going to run my season. But
and I just spent some of my last fab in the Guillotine League on Justin Jefferson, and we'll see how that plays out for me. Albert wants to know Lawrence or Stroud this week. We're going to be wrapping up here shortly, guys, but we're going to rapid fire through these last few questions. Joey, is it going to be Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud in week 10?
Who asked us? Albert, as always, thank you for going to my rankings because these players are back-to-back. I'm going CJ Stroud, though.
Yeah, I'll take CJ Stroud with Trevor Lawrence going up against that San Fran matchup. They're neck and neck, though, as Joey said. Grimfan wants to know Gus Edwards or Rachaad White full PPR. Rachaad White coming off a pretty good game in that last one. Where are you going here, Joey?
Yeah. I'd like to eat all the crow that I said about Rachaad White at this moment in time right now. It's going to be Rachaad White. They both have really tough matchups against the Titans and against the Browns, 2 really good run defenses. But Rachaad White looks really good, and I think we might see Keaton Mitchell get a little more involved. So the shine comes off of Gus Edwards just a little bit. So Rachaad White, because none of those other running backs for Tampa Bay are really doing anything at all. Until they let Sean Tucker touch the field, I don't think we're going to see anything.
I'm with you, Joey. It's Rachaad White in that case. I'm more scared of the Browns defense than I am of that Titans defense. Mm-hmm. Jay says, I have way too many receivers. Tyreek, Waddle, Pittman, Smith, Devonta Smith, Nico Collins, and Olave. It's a start to flex league, 1 PPR trade thoughts. So, Joey, are there any of those receivers that jump out as that you would try to trade high right now?
You go take Pittman, you take Nico Collins, and you go to the Justin Jefferson owner because you're 8-1 and you can afford an IR spot. You have just told me the perfect scenario to trade for Justin Jefferson. Go out and do it. If he asks for Waddle and Nico, I would think about it. I really would. Is that Devonta Smith?
I'm guessing so.
Yeah.
I would try with Pittman and Nico.
Keep Tyreek and Waddle. Don't, but
I'm with you. Any of those other three, you can package off and send off in any way, shape, or form to add Justin Jefferson to that team. But that's 100% what I think you should do.
He's in a tough pickle this week, though, because Tyreek, Waddle, and Devonta Smith are all on bye. Oh,
that's brutal.
So he's got 3 guys that he probably needs to play this week. So going out and getting Justin Jefferson might hurt him a lot. I don't know. I'm still good. If you're 8-1, just take the loss.
I was going to say
Jefferson.
He can also eat a loss. He's probably already secured his playoff spot in there. Nice job, Jay, getting to 8-1 right there. Also, Scamper's coming in, letting us know Higgins expected to miss, and Albert confirming that news. And Alejandro said, just clarifying, you guys would start Debo over Amari and DJ Moore, because neither one of us said we would sit Debo Samuel in that scenario, Joey.
I'm
starting Debo Samuel over both Amari Cooper and DJ Moore this week.
I've got DJ Moore above Debo.
You've got DJ Moore right now. Okay.
Yeah. But that might change. No, I mean, west to east travel. It's a 1:00 game. No, I'll keep it how it is. I'll play DJ Moore over Debo Samuel.
All right. Well, guys, that is going to be it for us for office hours today. Thank you to everybody who came in and asked us questions. Best of luck in your week 10 matchups. Until next week, we are out of here. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Front Yard Fantasy. Easiest way to show your support. Until then, adios.
Bye, everybody.